Barry has picked up some of the suggestions there. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Just at this stage, we'll move an extension of time. Move by Chris Fletcher, seconded by me. Hopefully that extension isn't too lengthy. We're up at 10 to 4 already, and we'll call up, and that's obviously in our hands as always. We're calling up. Put it to the vote. Yeah, no, I think we put it to the vote, didn't we? Happy to move, Mr. Chair. No. Sorry, I thought yeah. Yeah, we've removed it. So you put it to the vote? Yeah. Yes, carried. So the next item, 18, the proposed approach to joint development of the 2024 Regional Land Transport Plan. I would note that Chair Donnelly is online, so Wayne Donnelly will be somewhere in the cyberspace there, if he hadn't been hacked into, and Hamish and Robert would appear to be leading the charge on this one. Over to you.
Thank you. I'll first ask my board chair whether he wants to make any opening comments. Wayne.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Hamish. Yeah, this is an important paper for the committee. Just to say that the AT board wants to work very, very closely with you on this. We are governed by the way things are set up at the moment, but that doesn't mean we can't agree on a really good result for Auckland, and that what's being outlined here is a process by which we can get there. Thank you.
Kia ora and good afternoon. So the purpose of this paper is to advise on the proposed joint process for developing the Regional Land Transport Plan and seek the committee's endorsement of it. It responds to the recent request from this committee for advice on that particular process and how we'll move forward to develop the plan jointly between Auckland Transport and Council. So by way of context, I'll just outline the purpose of the Regional Land Transport Plan, and I think it's worth understanding that from a statutory perspective, the Regional Land Transport Plan is really, it's a bid document, because what it does is it outlines the proposals for funding from the National Land Transport Program. So this is it's a document that really captures the priorities of the Auckland region for funding from the National Land Transport Fund, I should say. So from the central government fund administered by Waka Kotahi. It's a document that captures both operating costs and capital costs, but it's really focused in particular on the detail of the capital program. It captures projects from all transport projects from all public agencies, but in terms of the sort of effect it can have in terms of prioritisation, it's really those projects that seek funding from the National Land Transport Fund that are key here. So it's really Auckland Transport and Waka Kotahi's program. You'll note that KiwiRail also receives money from that fund, but generally its projects are covered by the National Rail Program and are therefore mandated. So just to set out that context, although we need to include and mention the likes of Crown-funded projects such as, for example, proposed airport to Mangere and projects that were formerly in the New Zealand Upgrade Program, really the things that can be affected or changed through the RLTP are those things where we're bidding for funding from the National Land Transport Fund. This process will be a little bit different from the last two RLTPs in that at this point anyway, we're uncertain of how the joint integrated transport plan process is going to work. In previous years, we've seen we've had the Auckland Transport Alignment Project, or ATAP processes, which have really kind of been preceding the RLTP and that led to an agreement between central government and council on the programs that have subsequently basically been adopted in the RLTP. So this time around, we don't necessarily have an ATAP, so we are kind of working our way through the normal statutory process here. So just worth noting that as a difference. So in terms of how we plan to proceed, clearly in the first instance, we're talking about 3 phases here. And the first phase is working as part of the long-term plan process, which you'll be well aware is currently underway, to establish the scale of council's funding envelope for the transport program and what the strategic direction is there. So clearly, council has issued guidance to its CCOs, including us, and setting out a number of options and questions that it wants analysis on. So we'll provide input there, and then we're expecting that over the course of that process we'll receive feedback as to what the broad funding envelope is going to be and what the key strategic direction for Auckland Transport's program is going to be. In the second phase of that, once we've got a sense of those things, is we plan to work with this committee to refine the prioritisation of Auckland Transport's program once we have a sense of how much money that we're working with, particularly in terms of the capital program. Now, we expect that to occur over October and November, and that will lead to a proposal from this committee and the Auckland Transport Board that will go into prioritisation in the multi-agency process, i.e. against and with Waka Kotahi projects, and that will be the third phase where that prioritisation occurs, which will be led by the Regional Transport Committee. Now, it's worth noting that the Regional Transport Committee is slightly different from Auckland Transport Board. It's set up under a different statute and has slightly different purposes. So anyway, that third phase is where the Auckland Transport and Waka Kotahi programs will be put together. We intend to workshop some of that prioritisation with this committee, and then we will come back to the committee to seek your endorsement of the draft Regional Land Transport Plan before it goes out to formal consultation. And then following consultation, we'll come back again to seek your endorsement of the final Regional Land Transport Plan before it's finally approved by the Auckland Transport Board. In terms of consultation, clearly there's a statutory consultation process that's required as part of the development of RLTP, and we're expecting that to occur in March, April. I should say that a key factor here is in terms of the legislative requirements, the RLTP has to be consistent with the government policy statement on land transport. Now, because of the election, we're not sure when we will get a final government policy statement. And so really this work, some of this RLTP prioritisation work can't be confirmed until we've had that final statement issued. So the kind of timing of that third phase that I described is somewhat fluid, and it's dependent on what government does in terms of its policy statement. So in terms of the consultation, we will have a formal consultation process, but we are going to undertake an early engagement focused on Auckland Transport's program. That will be with local boards, stakeholders, and of course with both mana whenua and mata waka. So in terms of mana whenua, we had some questions from IMSB, and really what we intend to do is use our existing regional forums plus seek specific engagement with each of the mana whenua, and we'll offer the opportunity for engagement there. And then we'll seek to use our kind of existing processes to seek feedback from mata waka. We are not proposing an early public engagement phase on this. We have quite a bit of information from work done earlier this year on the joint transport plan that gives a sense of public priorities. We also have recent work on parking strategy, regional public transport plan. So we've got quite a bit of information on that. the public will get the chance for consultation during the formal consultation process. We will, however, investigate the possibility for using deliberative democracy as part of this process. So that's a quick update. Now, of course, as part of that, we'll be working closely with Auckland Council staff, particularly my colleague Robert and his team, but also finance and the CCO governance board, because really this is a process that sort of transitions from the work that we're doing on the LTP into a specialised focus on the regional land transport plan. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Fine. Okay, so we've got a pretty detailed paper here, ladies and gentlemen, that hopefully people have had a chance to read through and digest, and some equally specific recommendations. Is there any case? So it's moved by Councillor Walker, seconded by Councillor Dalton. I have just the one question online from IMSB member Tao Henare.
Kia ora. Thank you, Chair. Look, just a few questions. The first one is, you mentioned in, I think it's paragraph 4, the term key mana whenua partners. Who are these key mana whenua partners?
Apologies, I shouldn't have used the word key. That should be all mana whenua. So as I said, we intend to engage with all 19 iwi and use our operational sub-regional hui as well to engage.
So is that engagement going to be more than just an email approach, or I mean, what's the approach going to be?
So what we're proposing to do is we will specifically, with our hui, go and brief the sort of operational hui about what the issues are, seek early feedback. But in terms of the iwi themselves, we will be offering a one-on-one meeting. What we intend to do is collect all the information that we have around Māori the feedback that we've received over recent years, including the Joint Transport Plan, about the sorts of things that Māori are looking for, provide that as material, and seek to use that as a basis. But will be offering one-on-one engagement as part of this early decision making. And then there will be a second phase, of course, as part of the formal consultation. We haven't quite worked out exactly what that looks like at this point. We're just working through making sure we get this early engagement phase underway.
So what's the Mātāwaka consultation going to look like? Or you haven't worked that out yet?
Oh no, we're still working through that. I'll admit the Mātāwaka consultation, particularly in terms of this early engagement, is very challenging. What we are proposing to use is our own kind of networks that our Māori responsiveness team is working up. Plus, we want to engage with some of the key, what I understand to be Mātāwaka marae. Unfortunately, I can't list those right off the top of my head, but as a way of starting that kind of conversation.
Just the last thing. No, I won't go there. No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Henare. That's fine. It's been moved. It's been seconded. I don't think there's any need for anyone to talk to, so I'll put it. All those in favour? Aye. Against?
No. Can I make sure my vote is recorded as a no? Thanks.
Okay, so record Member Henare against. All
Thank
right.
you, Chair.
Thank you, gentlemen. We move then to a couple of pro forma items that we should be able to race through as we gather speed towards